Hey, check it out. We're on the 69 satellite, sport satellite. Just wanted to show you a couple problems we ran into. At one time someone slammed the trunk lid on. There was some dents up in here. It was caused by the hinge brackets where they go in through there's like a little square hole they slide in. Some go to the side, little brackets. But anyway, so those up spots we had to knock down. So I knocked that down. There was an area here. We knocked that down too. So what we've been doing, grab this out of your way. I kind of blocked across this after I touched it, and I realized if you follow along here, there's some sand marks that indicate that this is pretty flat. But when I come up to here, it's cutting a real hard line right here. You can barely feel it. But what that indicates is this is high. All in here is low, and I know there's some yellow there now, but that's because I tried to come at it at a different angle. But when I went up here, I immediately realized from here to here, there's a bit of a dip. So this filler wasn't enough. So what you got to do, and I mean, you'll come across this and it's frustrating. Now, if you're doing this at home or you're not someone who does this all the time, you're going to see where some guys like to, well, there's a little hollow here, we'll fill this in here and blend it out. You don't want to have waves, because when you come up behind the car and there's nice shiny paint, if there's any little waves, you're going to see that. And I know some people say, well, I can't feel it, you can barely see it in the primer. Trust me, when it's shiny, you're going to see it. Yeah, this looks like something, but it's flat. But anyway, so right here, it's not that it's rough. It blended out from the middle to here, but in here, it's just not. And all this is basically, I'm going to fill this like so. And I mean, we're talking super duper thin, but if you don't do it, you're going to always see waves. Now that side over there, I did the exact same thing where it was banged up and it worked and it blocked out smooth. Now we are going to throw 3 coats of high build primer on this to block it out even more. I don't think that's going to fix this. So, but basically, what's happening, this is running across it, and by the time it wants to put a nice even scratch across, it's way up here. There might be a touch of a high there, but I mean, there's a limit to how much you can do, because this moves, right? The grate here is really soft. It depends where the bracing is behind it. I mean, we were happy with everything that way, so a bit of, it's hard to judge, right? Like, I could explain that there could be a wave here, but let's see if I can put a scratch on it. Okay, so let me check to see if I can make sure you're in view, and I think you are. There, we're going to go remote here. Hang on, right here. You can see it's putting a lot of scratch. So everything that's dark is low. Now, once you get to about here, I feel it's okay. Now this right here, even though it's low, it's so there's a high ridge right here and right here. Now, this is where you got to do a bit of a judgment call. Now, if you paint over that, it may or may not show, but it kind of prints through, right? Because the paint on top will level out, but it doesn't level the surface. It levels itself to a thickness on the panel, so it'll show these to some degree. They're very, very minor, so you can always go across. You can see how I'm kind of doing it crisscross. Wow, this car's been... Okay, let's get you straightened out. There's a little bit of a low there. So It'd be nice to kind of know how much of a low. I mean, you can feel it with your hand. Your hands lie, because you're going to sand the top till it's super smooth. You won't feel waves, you only feel bumps, roughness. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to see, you see how this rocks? Like it's ever so little bit. Okay, it does rock even on the low spot, a little bit right here, but otherwise it'll rock, which means our high build's going to fill that. So we're not going to worry about that. But when you get just past that to here, the sandpaper cuts it right across here, no problem. So this part back here has a lot of little highs and lows. So we're going to go right here and in, and we're going to put, and I'm talking like so thin, like would it even be a 1/16? Like what's there now, it's like rice paper thin. But as soon as I went to block it down, I can tell it's not going to be enough. Now you can say mess around with this for a while. Now here's a high spot, you can't go any down any further than this. The more you sand around it, the lower everything goes, but that metal ain't going to drop, right? So we're going to come over the metal a little bit out to here, because I think here you can see some dark markings. So from here this way needs fill. This side, even though we have fill here, it needs more. Here's a high spot where it was cutting through. So in here where the gray is, that's all low. Yeah, this is kind of a... But anyway, let me put you on pause or whatever, and then we'll put some fill on there and show what that looks like.